My next guest is Angela Petrilli. Angela is a Los Angeles master guitarist. She's the host of her own show, Petrilli Picks, a frequent guest on Norman's Rare Guitars, band leader of the Petrelli Players, endorsed by Martin Guitars, and was one half of the Los Angeles band Roses and Cigarettes, which came to an end in 2018 when singer and best friend Jenny Pagliaro lost her battle with breast cancer. Angela was kind enough to sit down with us at Norman's Rare Guitars and tell us her story. Oh, Miss Angela Petrilli, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're
it's
awesome.
Cool to you're awesome.
I am. We met at the El Cid, which I was just talking to Norman about.
Yes.
For the amazing Eric Tesmer show, which you sat in on a couple songs.
Yes, they're all those guys, Eric and Jason and Mark and Jenny. They're good people. They're good people. But yeah, he calls me up. He's like, "Here, no, it was a text." He's like, "Hey, so what are you doing Sunday? You busy?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "You want to be?" I'm like, "Sure." Yeah.
Did he?
So, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
So no, but just went and he's like, "Bring Strat," and just.
You didn't know he was coming to town. He's just like, "Hey."
Oh no, I knew he was in town. I was gonna go. I was gonna plan to go
okay.
see him anyway. We're buddies, so he's like, come on, let's go and play a couple songs. He's so fun to play with. All those guys, they're great.
Yeah,
just great.
Top tier. And
it's
just watching that kind of music, it's like just the truth. Real rock and roll is not dead, especially blues rock, like
especially in his hands. That's for sure. He's one of those kind of players. You listen to him and you watch him, and he makes you want to be better. And he's a good person on top of all of it.
And America, he is constantly on tour. That guy lives on the road. So if EricTesmerBand.com, shout out to ET.
Shout out to Eric.
We love you.
All the guys, absolutely.
You're born and raised here in Los Angeles, down in the South Bay, which I live as well, Hawthorne area, correct?
Yes, born and raised there. Yeah.
And you went to Hawthorne High?
I went to an all-girls Catholic high school in the West Side. It's called Notre Dame Academy. So I went there. I mean, the skirts and the blazers and the the knee highs, the whole thing.
Oh,
so
wow.
I know.
When did you learn guitar?
I was 9 years old.
That's when you first saw one.
When I was 4 years old. My mom, she plays a little guitar, and as a kid, she would always play for me and my brother. And I remember watching her play and just like, I can do that. I knew I would be musical since I was 4, and would watch her play. Wasn't totally sure it was going to be a guitar, but I knew it was musical, and wanted to play drums initially. And she took me aside. I was about 8 years old at the time when I mentioned that. I was like, "Mom, I really want to play drums." And she goes, "Listen, you can't bring drums to the beach, but you could bring a guitar. How about we do that?" So she's like, "Here, put a guitar in my hands, like play this." Loved it. And then, as an adult, I find out they got drum circles in Venice. Like, you lied to me. But glad I picked up guitar.
So how did you start learning? Lessons?
How it all started, I had heard "Put Your Lights On" by Santana. And Everlast, remember that tune from the Supernatural album?
Leave your lights on.
Oh my god, that song's great. And it's got the really nice, big, acoustic guitar sound. I loved it. And I went to my mom, I'm like, "Hey, I want to learn how to play this." She's like, "Well, you gotta learn notes first and stuff, but I'll show you, how to play the chords, where to put your fingers, the whole thing." So she showed me the chords. And then the next morning I woke her up. I'm like, "Mom, does it go like this?" And just started playing. And she's like, "Okay, kid needs lessons." So went to the Guitar Center in Lawndale. And
is this still on Artesia?
On Artesia, yeah. So went there, and it's when they used to have the big wall of, business cards of guitar players or bands or whatever, looking for work, whatever. So my mom, was looking at this wall of business cards. She's like, "Okay, that one," and picks it. And his name was Jimmy Scott, and he was my guitar teacher for 8 years. Taught me everything I know. But I owe a lot to that guy.
And you're 10 years old?
Yeah, I was like 10, 11.
I don't even know how to pick my nose when I was 10 years old. So to hear that you were, mastering strings and, even just playing C and G is
it was an F, because that song has an F chord in it. And I remember as a little kid, she's like, "Okay, you got to kind of squeeze it." And I'm like, "Oh, like this?" And she's like, "Yep, like that. Okay," and
what was the first song that Jimmy taught you that you really kind of mastered and you're like, "I'm playing this one nonstop"?
Man. That Jimmy taught me.
Every rose has its thorn.
Just one thorn. Just one. What was the song? He taught me a lot of, well, the way that our lessons worked is I would bring in a song and I'd be like, Jimmy, I'd really like to learn this one. And he's like, okay. And he would teach me, okay, and here's the chords and here's how we use it. And notice how they play an E chord, but it's not the E chord up here. It's the E chord down here, and notice the difference tonally. So those sorts of things, he was training my ear to do that. And I'll never forget the first lesson. It was at his place, and he had a big radio, tape deck, CD player, the whole thing. And he goes, okay, by the end of our lessons, when we are done, he goes, I'm going to teach you how to do this. And he turned on the radio and he goes, I have never heard this song before. And it was some song, and I just see him, and then he plays it.
Oh, wow.
And then he turns the channel, just from hearing it. He turns the channel. It was another song. He's like, okay, I don't know this one. And he sat there for a minute, and then he played it. And I thought it was magic. And I'm like 9, 10-year-old kid. And he's like, don't worry. By the end of our lessons, I'm going to teach you how to do that.
Do you think that's magic. Somewhat of a gift? Because I've been playing 20 years and I can't do that.
I think it is a skill that can be honed for sure. We talked about that down at Hermosa Saloon the other day, and it's like, my ear is just so good. And it's like when you got up with Tesmer, I was talking to Eric at our interview, and I was like, what songs were you guys doing? Did you know the material? He's like, oh no, she just fits in where we lack or what. I'm like, what? Yeah, you find that, but that's the thing too, is playing guitar. It's not only, knowing where to play with chords and all that stuff. It's really listening. And I think that's what makes a really great, well-rounded musician, is being able to listen to those pockets that may need something, because you got Mark on the drums and he's doing his thing. Okay. And you got Jason on the bass. All right. So they're setting their own pocket and you're listening to it. Okay. And then Eric's just all over, doing his thing, and it's great. So again, finding your pockets where you fit that can elevate what's happening. Cause really a band is a team mentality. It's not, this is the main person, this is the main thing. We all work together, and it's all a language, So, okay, if, we were playing like Good So Bad, all right, so that's, it's going to be a 1-4 that's going back and forth, and okay, listening to that and how Eric does it, okay, and how can I complement with my guitar playing and complement the rest of the band? How could we sound good as a team? So I always think that whenever I sit in with bands, it's a team mentality. And what's going to best serve the song, because at the end of the day, that's what wins. Always. Obviously, understanding that is a gift right there, because some people don't take that approach, and it's all about them, especially lead players. They're just... it's more fun being in a team, I think. Yeah, everyone's got to do their role, and but we can put the radio on right now, and you can just pick it up and I could figure it out. I could figure it out. That's very, very, very impressive. It's a lot of practice. When you're starting off, were you learning a lot of scales, I presume, too? Not really, to be honest. Wow, okay. That came later. I just really wanted to learn songs first and chords. I was always very much drawn to rhythm playing, and it's still, I think rhythm is incredibly important, not only in playing rhythm guitar, but in doing solos too. Just being aware of time and how it works, and then playing with other musicians and seeing how that works together. But I didn't get into scales right away. Okay. I really honed in on the rhythm section first and really getting that down as a player. And then, okay, like I remember I brought up a Stevie Ray Vaughan song, and he's like, okay. Which one was it? This is some territory. What was it? Was it Pride and Joy? No, it was Texas Flood. It was Texas Flood. Okay. And I'm just like, man, I really want to do this. My dad was a huge Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. That was constantly on as a little kid. Always on in the house and, in his car and all of that. And I just remember one day like, this is special and this is different. I would love to just understand how he gets the sound and how I could attempt to play like that, It's amazing that all the people that I listen to or I've talked to, from John Mayer to Gary Clark Jr., Tesmer, they're all drawn to Stevie Ray more so than Hendrix even. I guess it's maybe more material, or is it just... I think with someone like Jimi Hendrix, he was revolutionary for the time. Okay. And he really blew the doors off and really paved the way for musicians like, Santana and Stevie Ray and all of that. he was incredibly revolutionary, and how he looked at the guitar was different than anything else then. You know, so I think with someone like Stevie Ray, there's this magical intensity and precision too, because that guy was lightning fast, but damn, he didn't miss a note. You know, and his mastery of tone too is just something like, still even listening to stuff, just like, wow.
You know right away.
Just you know, and I think that's really just a beautiful thing, and I hope, you know, one day I can get to that point where, you know, you hear two notes and you're like, that's so and so. By two notes, like you hear B.B. King, you hear two notes, you're like, yep, that's B.B. King. Okay, you hear two notes, that's Stevie Ray. That's Santana.
The amp, the guitar, how they have the dial set. I mean,
it's honestly, at the end of the day, your tone is here.
Okay.
At the end of the day,
just the way you're bending, holding.
It is
everything.
The way you play. It is the way your hand plays
so
that guitar. That, to me, that's where tone comes from. Because you can dial in an amp, and of course that has, you know, a lot to do with it. But at the end of the day, this is tone. This is tone.
Back to the younger days, when you're in your teenage years, when did you start realizing, I guess, the emotional side of music, when it really was, you know, affecting you? Like I play guitar when I'm filled with anxiety, or if I smoke some herb, or if I'm, you know, just, it puts me in a mood. You know, it's not just a creative, but it's also, you know, for sadness and happiness. Did you notice that early on, or you just thought it was
right
fun?
Away. It was right away. Right, I knew there was a deep connection. Like a guitar to me is really an extension of my body and my soul and all of that. I knew right away.
Were you mostly on acoustic early on?
Oh yeah, I didn't touch an electric guitar for 2-3 years.
Oh my goodness.
Before I played, because just there is something so magical about an acoustic guitar and the way that you play it and the way you feel its resonance against your body. It's something very special. It's something very special. So with me, I played an acoustic guitar for 2 solid years before even buying my first electric guitar.
What was it, a Yamaha? Or?
It was an Ovation.
Oh, nice.
It was an Ovation. It was a Celebrity Ovation. I still have it.
Celebrity Ovation.
It was a Celebrity Ovation.
You still have it?
Maroon
That's
colored.
great.
Still got it. I mean, that's where I started. You know.
To hold on to it, though.
Yeah, I have a problem with not selling guitars. I have yet to really sell any of them. I still have them all. So
obviously, your mom, you know, that's so cool. She acknowledged that and get you started with lessons. Did Jimmy Jimmy Scott, your teacher, acknowledge that you were, you know, just had a knack for this and you were extremely talented? And it's like, wow,
he would bring me. I remember it was the first couple lessons, and I played a bar chord, and he goes, "Oh, okay, you know bar chords too. Okay." And I could see like the wheels turning. He was quite a hard ass. Like he was very tough on me with lessons. And okay, like I would play a line. He's like, "Nope." He goes, "I don't believe it. Do it again." Oh yeah. And I was, so when I was 16, he's like, "All right, I play at this place. We do an open, blues jam. Bring your Strat. And, we'll have you up on a song."
How old is this?
I was 16.
Oh, my goodness.
And this was like a bar in Torrance. And that my parents even let me
go. Crest?
The Crest.
Wow.
The Crest. I cut my teeth at the Crest. I would go, I think it was Thursday nights or Tuesday nights, I forget. But yeah, so I would cut my teeth there. And he would, anyway, so this first time he brought me, so he's like, "All right, come on down. Bring your Strat." So I would sit there. They would do the first set. And it was a band. It was a rotating band. There were different people coming in and out of that place. You never knew who was coming in.
Were you nervous as all hell, being 16 years old?
A little bit.
Older players?
A little bit. Yeah, because, it's like, who's this kid?
Yeah.
First of all, she shouldn't be here, and she's got the X on her hand. Like, this kid shouldn't be here. But they sell food till 10, so technically I was still able to go there. But
the experience you got from that, though, was immeasurable.
So what would happen is he would play the first set, and the set would be over. He'd be tired. He's like, "Okay, my hands hurt. So this next set, you're gonna be the guitar player."
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's like, oh shit, okay. And they would call the songs. They'd go, "Okay, we're gonna do a blues shuffle in F, or whatever." And through the lessons that we had together, okay, I had to know, okay, we're in the key of F. It's a 1-4-5 progression. Okay, I could do, I had to know my major, minor relatives, all that stuff, so that I could, properly play up and down the neck and that whole thing, and solo and sound good. And if there were 2 guitar players and I would be the third one, okay, so you got to know your inversions of your chords before you can go in. You don't want to be playing the same stuff and it would sound muddy. So you gotta know where your inversions are. And some days I did great, and some days I sucked.
Yeah.
So we would drive back, and we would talk during the ride. Okay, he's like, "What'd you do well? What could you have worked on? What could have been better?" And I love those conversations when we do that. Okay, yeah, I could have did this. And he's like, don't be afraid, to use that, to go ahead and play this way and step on that pedal. And he's like, notice how when you didn't step on the pedal in your solo, notice how it wasn't in the mix, but when you use the tube screamer, how it moves up and how it cuts. And see when you use this certain, pickup configuration. Okay, so see how it cut? So he would not only teach me, literally how to play, but how to play in a band. Because sure, you can sit in your bed and like play and practice doing metronome and all that stuff, and that's great and important, yes. But then there's that other side of it of, okay, you got to go out and play, because one gig is worth like 100 rehearsals, and that's where you really learn. You're like, okay, yeah, I need to work on that. Okay, I could do this better. Yep, okay.
That's so...
Yeah, he threw me into the fire.
Insane. That's not even a guitar teacher anymore, where you have that's like a father figure in a sense when you're at that age, and he's just, you have that kind of he has that kind of insight.
I still talk to him all the time about stuff.
Is he still teaching?
I'm sure he is.
Wow.
I'm sure he is. Yeah, he's in Florida now.
Okay.
But yeah, I was so sad that last lesson, and he's like, I taught you everything I know. He's like, now it's up to you to pave your own path. And he's like, and if you can promise me one thing, he's like, don't sound like me, sound like you, and find whatever that is that makes you, and find that.
Is that the best valuable piece of advice you've received?
Yeah, I think so. I think it really is. He goes, find you, because you have something to say. And the older I get, the more I realize that, like, okay, like, there's no one like you, there's no one else like me. And it's up to us to, okay, find whatever that voice is, whether it's, you're an artist and this is the art you make, or you're a musician and this is the music you make, just sticking to your guns and your gut. And, because a lot of people are going to want to put you in a box, and you got to be really adamant on this is my story, and this is what I have to say and how I'm going to say it.
And apply that to anything in life.
Oh, yeah.
Be your own. There's with Instagram and social media today, everyone's mimicking everyone else because they think that's the way to success.
Right.
There's already somebody that sounds like Steve Vai. There's already somebody that sings like Sheryl Crow. And, I think it's almost the record industry's fault, because they even in movies, they just try to recreate what they had before that was a hit. And I think it's trickled down to musicians that they have to sound like this or that. And
I think it's important to, of course, we're going to be inspired by different things. Like, yes, you'll hear my playing. All right, she's definitely a Hendrix fan. Okay, she's definitely a Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. Yes, but using that to help you find your voice, and again, I think of it just as a a nod and a gratefulness to those players before me. Gosh, Bonnie Raitt too, and the way that she plays slide, man, it's like a human voice. It's so, I just love how she plays.
What's going on in high school then? So you're 16, you're carrying around a Strat at a Catholic all-girls school.
Yeah.
Are you the coolest girl in school, the outcast?
I gotta say, it was a really small school. I believe there was 120 of us in my graduating class.
Oh, just in
the graduating class, yeah. So about 400-ish at the school. It was a beautiful place to grow up, I think, because we all supported each other, so it was never like, those are the lame kids and these are the cool kids. It was never like that, at least from my experience in high school. We were all just here to find out who we are. And
were you was there other kids you were playing with? And
there were a few girls. There were a few girls at the school. Like,
other
I play
girls
drums.
playing guitar too.
Yeah, I play drums. I play guitar, and so we
Was there like talent night, and you were just coming up there ripping Texas Flood? And
I was not. I was not quite there yet with the Texas Flood in high school. I wish. I was really into a lot of the '90s stuff. So a lot of, Incubus. They were one of my favorite bands in high school. Oh man, love that. Oh my god. Pardon me, man.
Pardon me. They're going back on tour this year.
They are. I just recently saw them for the Make Yourself tour at the Greek. It was just hearing that album front to back. 13-year-old Angela was so excited.
They're from the Valley here, aren't they?
They're from Calabasas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're from Calabasas. Not too stone's throw from here. But yeah, really didn't get into blues playing, until I was in college, really. And I'm like, oh, I like this. This connects with me. This really speaks to me. And then when, found, Stevie Ray was always on in my house. But then, okay, I would always do my homework, and this was something Jimmy taught me too. Go back. So who inspired someone like Stevie Ray Vaughan? Who inspired someone like Jimi Hendrix? Okay, and you go back. Muddy Waters, who's this guy? What's he all about? Oh, wow. This stuff's great. Yeah. Okay, cool. And you just, again, doing that history. And I think that is really important too, is as musicians and artists and, whatever we do. Someone inspires you. Someone also inspired them. So go back and grab
Johnson.
Things. And you could just like, wow, there's just this beautiful music, this plethora of knowledge and everything. It's great, and that's when I really got into slide playing too, is hearing, okay, Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, and Howlin' Wolf. You're like, wow. And this is different kind of blues. Like I'm hearing this Texas blues, someone like, okay, Buddy Guy, like this is great. B.B. King, this is great. And then this kind of blues with slide, wow, this is great too. And again, it's just becoming a really well-rounded musician and doing your due diligence and going back in your history. So.
Also, I grew up in Chicago. My dad was huge into the blues, and the nostalgia for me was the storytelling and how each blues player can make, the song their own, and we're just telling a story. Right. And, when you listen to things nowadays like Catfish Blues that everybody plays, and it's just everybody has their own spin on it. And the simplicity of the rhythm guitar in blues to the explosiveness, crazy licks of a lead player, it's such a cool dynamic, in blues music. And I love it.
It's a beautiful thing. It's and you think of players, you got Clapton and, all these other... Bonnie Raitt, all these other musicians, they're playing 5 notes out of a pentatonic scale, yet they all have their voice. They all found it.
Yeah.
And that's our job while we're here on this earth. Find that voice.
Someone that plays blues rock, Allman Brothers, but Warren Haynes, when he plays some great old blues covers, it doesn't get much better than that. And obviously, Buddy Guy too, still writing albums at 87 years old. It's just it's the best.
It's magical. It's something otherworldly, and it definitely is a universal language.
So then you went to college here in LA?
Yes, I went to UCLA.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Proud
what were you studying
right
there?
I studied communications and marketing and PR.
And you're playing guitar throughout?
Oh, yeah. That helped me pay for school. That helped me pay for school. I would gig. Yeah, I would gig on the weekends and during the week sometimes. And I got my, got my exams. And, oh, yeah. It's yeah.
Were you sitting in with people, or did you have your own group?
Sitting in, usually.
A version of the
sitting
Petrelli
in.
Players?
No, I didn't really do my own band. I, again, sat in with different kinds of artists because, again, I really wanted to be well-rounded and being able to play a lot of stuff. So a lot of, I do a lot of acoustic kind of gigs and really, really dig in and get better at playing rhythm, okay? And then would do... blues bands and stuff like that, and rock bands, and just, again, I just really wanted to be well-versed, as I could, and just soak in, like, all the music I could and listen to as much as I could.
Was it word of mouth, kind of, or you're just meeting different people at all these gigs, and they're like, hey, you should come play on my band next weekend?
It was a little bit of that, and, just going out and going to open mics and playing, and all right, yeah, like, cool, I got this band, we're working on this project, great, would love to play with you guys. And did that and did that hustle. But yeah.
So what year is this then when you're in college? Roughly like 2000?
I graduated 2012 from UCLA.
Okay, so the internet was into play then a
Slightly,
little bit.
yeah. Had just gotten a smartphone in like 2011, I think. An iPhone, like, this is cool, and yeah.
Was this when you met Jenny and started?
I met Jenny. It was in 2013, and again, this was funny story.
Please.
My buddy was putting a band together, and there were 7 of us, and we did a rehearsal, and I went to pay him for my half of the rehearsal, and he goes, I can't take it. He goes, for this audition, they only want bands of 6, and I gotta let you go.
Oh, man.
And I was counting on this gig for the summer, and I was like, oh, great. I need a gig for the summer. And I was driving up actually to Tarzana from the South Bay. And I'm like, man, that's it. I need a gig. And I set my parameters, and I knew they were crazy. And I'm like, okay, I want a gig that pays. I want a gig in a genre that I am not comfortable in playing. So I knew rock and blues were going to be out. So like country band would be cool. Okay, I wanted a band that's playing often and that I don't have to drive on a freaking freeway to go to a gig, at least for the next little while. And I knew those were 4 big things. So I went on Craigslist and I looked up bands looking for players or whatever the hell I did. And I was laying on my bed. I'm like, South Bay country. I'm like, I live in the South Bay and it's country. Okay, cool. And go on their website, listen to some of their demos they did. I'm like, oh, the singer's got a great voice. Okay. And then I scroll down and I see the singer and her name's Jenny Pagliaro. I go, okay, she's Italian too. If I can win over the singer, I can get this gig. And I'm like, we look around the same age too. This is great. So went into audition and we hit it off. It's like I knew her since high school. Like I knew her my whole life. I cannot explain it. And I was like thinking about that on the way here. Like I just can't explain it. And we just really connected. There was something there. And the audition went great. Got the gig. And we started talking and stuff between our sets. You know, we would play the Lighthouse all the time.
Yeah, I saw you guys there without even knowing you, because that was a big band then. I mean,
what a small world. What a small world.
I know.
So yeah, we were talking and she's like, yeah, you know, I'm writing some stuff with my producer right now and I'm looking to, you know, do my own solo album and all this stuff. And I remember thinking in my head as she's talking about this, she's so passionate about it. I'm like, I got to be in on that project. I just knew it. I'm like, I'm going to have to be in on that project. And we just started talking more and more and just found that we were very much in common with a lot of things. And yeah, so yeah, we were talking one day and we were at her house because we would just practice. Like, you want to come over and just play acoustic guitar? Like, sure. And we would play. We knew right away that we were going to be our own band. Like after that first rehearsal together at her place. Like, okay.
Was she from the South Bay?
She's from back east, Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
When she was living out here, was she down in the South Bay where you guys could?
She lived in the West Side.
Okay.
Yeah, she lived on the West Side. So yeah, we knew right away. And I was in that band 3 months, and we left and we did our own thing, and that was
left the country.
No. We left this country cover band. Yeah.
Okay.
And then started our own thing, and
the name of that group was
Roses and Cigarettes.
Roses and Cigarettes.
Yes.
And so that's you on lead guitar, Jenny singing.
Yes.
And then you have, was it just you guys?
So
you have people sit in on drums?
We would do both.
Pick up musicians?
Yeah. Well, and, you know, they ended up being, you know, they were good friends of ours already and big brothers to us. So Michael Lyons, he was our producer and our bass player and just big brother and, you know, mentor and all that good things. He's a wonderful, wonderful human and wonderful musician too. And just, so yeah, I owe a lot to that guy. We both do. Owe a lot to that guy. So he was on bass with us. We had, you know, rotating drummers, Ted Kelleher, Vic Vanacore.
And you guys would do acoustic one-offs?
Yeah, we would do acoustic duos. We were pretty evenly split. We liked to do full band stuff and acoustic duo stuff. That just broadened our, you know, scope of playing venues too, which was great. Frequent in the Mint a lot. That was really our home base in LA. And yeah,
great talent buyer there.
Scott Reefman is an angel. He was one of our angels.
Still there
for
today.
Sure. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. Wonderful. We're very lucky to just be surrounded by wonderful folks. I mean, this guy over here,
legend.
Norm, angel to us. All these folks here at Norm's, and completely indebted to them.
The Mint,
wonderful people,
and the Baked Potato, I would say, are the two premier venues for music. And they only hold like 300 people. The Baked Potato is like 150.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Mint is just so great. It's on Pico. It's out of the madness of Hollywood.
And it's just got that vibe.
Yeah.
It's just a great spot. The sound
Stones
there.
played there.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone's played there. They've filmed so many movies there and great concerts. I saw Dennis Quaid's band there.
Oh, yeah.
And he's good.
And we opened for Billy Bob Thornton, his band there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we opened up for them there. Oh, God, Jim Lauderdale. Man, so many.
So
Amanda
Roses
Shires,
and Cigarettes opened up for Billy Bob Thornton's group.
Yeah.
That's too cool.
Yeah, so that was neat. And so it's just a wonderful, wonderful place, and yeah, really got to cut our teeth there too, and really learn how to be a performing band. That was one of the stages. We learned how to do that and how to do the banter thing, and you know how to play and play to a crowd and really read a crowd too. We learned a lot. We learned a lot on that stage. That will be a very, very special place.
What kind of music was Roses and Cigarettes?
It was like folk rock Americana. Yeah.
And you guys would write songs together and do cool covers.
It was incredibly, it was incredibly collaborative. Jenny had a real knack for, coming up with cool melodies and lyrics. And, a lot of times she would send a melody and go, okay, Angela, come up with some chords. And a lot of times I would come up with a chord progression. Okay, come up with a cool melody. And she just would always come back with really, really great stuff. And, and we'd...
This is 2012-ish?
This is 2013. We started the band. 2015, we released our first debut. We released the debut album, the first record.
You had an EP before the album,
No,
right?
no. We did album, EP, and then album 2. So 2 months after we released the first album, Jenny was diagnosed with breast cancer. And, we...
2 months before you released the album.
After we released.
Yeah. Jenny was diagnosed with breast cancer. Mm-hmm. Terminal.
She was stage 2 starting, and then it progressed to stage 4. Yeah.
Very quickly?
I believe it was like a year and a half later, I think, yeah.
What was, obviously, I've had devastating things happen to me with close people, and it's just changed everything. What was her attitude? Obviously devastation, but was she... wanted to continue doing as much possible as the time she had?
She fought like hell.
Chemotherapy?
She fought like hell. Yeah, you name it. She did it. She fought like hell. We would have a lot of conversations about the band, and, it's like, okay, we're going to do this for as long as we can. Wow. And we're going to have fun, and we're going to do all we can for as long as we can, and that's it. And that's it. It doesn't need to be more crazy than that. We're just going to do what we can, and we're going to have fun, and we're just going to kick ass. And that was it. And that was our projectile. And we're going to, obviously her diagnosis and led us to be a bit more particular about where we played and how long we played, and which was great.
Traveling
too.
And
yeah, but as far as like the gigs, like we're probably not going to do 4-hour gigs anymore. Yeah. Like that's a lot, and by that time we had really played a lot to where, okay, we can do a lot more showcase shows, and that's what we ended up doing for a while. And
circle back with Eric Tesmer. He sees one of these shows then, or did he know you from Petrilli Picks?
He saw us. We were doing a show here. We had played.
In Norman's
we had
Guitars.
done it at Norman on this couch. We had done a song, and
no way.
Yeah, and he reached out to us, and he's like, "Man, I'd love for you guys to, when you're in Austin, would love for you guys to open for me." And we're just like, "Okay, guess we're going to Austin," and
that first show was South by Southwest, right?
That was the second time we were at South by, and we opened for him at the KLBJ. Show at Shady Grove, and it was freaking epic. It was so much
Roses
fun.
and Cigarettes
yeah.
had played before at South by?
We had done some non-official stuff there, and just had a blast, because that was something that was really important to her. It's like, hey, we got to do South by, and we made it.
Awesome.
We made it happen. We got out there. Her dog Teddy came with us, her sister and some friends. We made it happen. It was absolutely just awesome, and just everything we wanted it to be.
That's
and
phenomenal. Just
Austin's such a great town too, especially for musicians. And yeah, it was a blast. And just Eric really went above and beyond. That was really something.
Yeah, he's a beautiful person.
Yeah, he's one of the special ones for sure. Yeah, I'll never forget that.
What was your last gig you played together?
It was actually with Eric Tesmer.
Really?
It was November 1st, 2018 at Gold Diggers on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, opening for him, and played a bunch of songs from our new album, and just I'm glad there's a lot of videos. She kicked ass that night. There was something really special with her. Yeah, she was always great, but there was something really special that night.
Oh, wow.
It was just a fun gig, and we had just gotten off playing at the Mint a few days before. It was her birthday show, and that Gold Digger show was fun, and the stage is about as big as this, about as big as this table, and we were all nice and cozy up there. We had it was 5 of us up there. We had Vic Vanacore on drums, and just big sound. Bobby Victor was on keys. And
how long after that show did Jenny pass?
She passed on March 26th, 2019.
So that would have been like a year, roughly?
No, about
6 months.
So okay, November, like 4 or 5 months later.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't want to get into that too much, but as a musician, how did that affect you being so close with her? And, you know, when I've had tragedy in my life, I become rebellious and I'm just like, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to get drunk for the rest of my life now. And did you continue to play? Did you have to support yourself?
I canceled all my gigs. I canceled them all, whatever I had. I couldn't look at a guitar for a month. Couldn't do it.
Just because it immediately reminded you of her. And
it was because we had built this life together and this plan of being rock stars, you know, and I knew for me I needed time just to pick up the pieces and just take a moment to breathe. Yeah, because my life changed that day.
Yeah.
My life changed that day, you know. It changes you, and you're a different person after something like that. You know, and there's no moving on from it. There's no moving on from it. There's a moving forward.
Adaptation only.
There's a moving forward. There's, you know, and I miss her every day. But there's a moving forward with her just in a new way, and I just like carry her here now. And when I play, I make sure to, you know, wear something of hers every time I'm on stage, just to
beautiful.
make her, just to like, okay, she's here with me. You know, playing whether it's a cool shirt that she loved or, you know, a pair of earrings that she really liked or a ring. I wear something of hers every single time I play.
I'm sure she's with you right now. We miss you, Jenny. You were amazing.
She's a good one, for sure. For sure.
Did you find that time was that you should have engulfed yourself in music because you're having these emotions? And I mean, after the 2-month period where you took a break from guitar, did you want to write about it, or you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna move on and just keep on trucking? For
me, I needed time, and I'm someone who doesn't like completely rush into things. I know myself pretty well, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna, because again, we were really close. I'll talk to her every
sisters.
day. Talk to her every day. And just as a musician too, that relationship you have with someone that you write music with, I feel like musicians understand what that relationship is like. It's a very intimate process of really, when you write songs together, these are deep parts of you, and you're sharing that and trusting that part of yourself with someone else. Mm-hmm. For me, I wanted to travel, and that's what I did. So I booked a ticket to Sydney, Australia.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm
solo, right?
Yeah, you know, one of my best friends lives there too, and just I wanted to see some beautiful things. I wanted to see some beautiful people and make some beautiful memories amongst this sad and horrible thing that happened.
Get out of LA too.
You know, and getting out of LA sometimes helps a lot. You know, but I wanted to make a space for myself, and again, you know, grief is different for everybody. You know, we all deal with it differently. I knew with me, I wanted to be healthy about it, not only for my mind, my body, and my soul. I wanted to be healthy. You know, I didn't want to go and drink the pain away. That's not how I deal with things. I didn't want to do that. You know, I didn't want to go and do a bunch of drugs. That was something that was not important to me. So I'm like, okay, how can I be healthy? You know, and process this in a healthy way, and being, you know, respectful. So I'm like, okay, you know, grief therapy, let's do that. You know, and let's talk to someone about this, because this is some heavy stuff. And, you know, just talking to another person about it, and, you know, traveling and doing that. I know I would always come back to music. I knew it was going to be there, because it's a part of me. I knew it would. But I knew that I needed to explore these other things that I loved to take care of myself, and I
balance it out,
you know, and I love to travel. So it's okay, I'm going to Italy, and I'm going to Paris and eating a bunch of croissants, and I'm going to I've always wanted to go to Normandy. I'm gonna go and go visit there. You know, I'm gonna go to Austin and see Eric and the guys. I'm gonna, you know, I went to New York for 10 days, and just like, I'm like, God, I've never spent 10 days in Manhattan. That's something I really want to do. So I went and did it, you know. It was a big, you know, exploration of self-love and doing that, and, you know, and again, grief is different for everybody, and it's definitely, it is not a linear thing, you know. God, and this past Saturday was the 1-year anniversary of us releasing our final album that we did together, and that was a hard day for me.
Can we listen to that somewhere online?
Oh yeah, it's on Spotify and all that good stuff. You can buy it. It's called Echoes and Silence, and that is one of the proudest things I have ever done, and it's a beautiful thing that we did together, and it's truly, it was an honor to witness everything Jenny gave on that album. It was an honor to watch, man. It just, beyond words to me.
Is it hard to listen to it?
It's very hard for me to listen to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's hard for me to listen to, but man, am I thankful it exists. And am I grateful for everyone who was involved in that, and that music exists to me, and that it is a legacy. It's a beautiful thing that I am thankful for every day, even though I can't listen to it every day. Man, am I thankful it exists.
Yeah. We don't understand how God works, but we do understand it sometimes. Obviously, that album being made, my father passed away, and there was like a certain trip we took. My grandmother, even when she passed away, we never talked that much, but she called me the night before, and it was just kind of those things are so powerful, and it just really makes you in tune with the world and energy and our souls. And so you return from
all these trips.
Yeah, from touring the world without a guitar. Did you bring a guitar with you? No, a little knapsack Martin, whatever it's called? No,
I didn't even. I knew there would be guitars around and that I could find something, but there is a bit of a freedom, too, of not having one.
Yep.
Even though I love it. But yeah, I paid for it when I got home because I was slow. I had to work up.
Calluses had to grow back.
I know, my calluses. I'm like, oh God, they're almost gone. But yeah, went home. And
Changing
made sure
subject. What are two exercises like when you come back from that trip? What do you start working on? Scales or just jamming out or listening to music?
Scales, especially since I'm a lot slower than I used to be, and I'm a little sloppy because I'm very much into my technique.
Yeah.
And being very precise in how I play, and I noticed I was doing things. I'm like, yeah, this isn't gonna fly. This isn't gonna fly. Just lots of just warm ups with just notes and going in half steps and whole steps and that sort of thing. I like those. Going through the circle of fifths and doing the different modes within those helps a lot too. I do that, and it's lots of good stretches. That sort of thing. Playing with the metronome, I cannot stress enough. It is a vital tool.
Timing is everything.
Timing is everything, my friend. Yeah, timing is everything, and it really kicks your butt. You're like, okay, I used to be playing at this, BPM, and now I'm not. And we're going to have to change that. So just really, it took me about a good solid 3 weeks to get back to, okay, let's get back to business. Let's move it up from here.
What did you start doing? Were you just called up some old people and say, hey, I need some work, let me start jamming, or doing session work? Or did you form the Petrelli Players?
With the Petrelli Players, it's a fun cover band. That is me trying to have music be fun again.
It's so awesome, though, because everybody that you have come in, I mean, to the viewers, the Petrelli Players is Angela Petrilli, and she'll have guest musicians for every role, kind of. Who's going to play is, Davey Allen's a mutual friend of ours who tours with Eric Burden and Jonzo West, who I grew up with.
Yeah,
you know Jonzo?
Small world. I don't.
We're next door neighbors.
Man, what a small world.
In Michigan City, Indiana.
Michigan City. I love it.
But, you don't know who's going to be in the Petrelli Players, and you guys play next weekend, right?
We are playing March 20th at Harvell's.
Oh, yes.
We're opening up for some good buddies of mine. They're called the Deltas. We recorded. They're great. I love those guys. We recorded Echoes and Silence at their yurt studio before the fires in Malibu got it.
Oh, wow. Really?
About a year and a half ago. Yeah. I think I was talking with Ted. He's like, I think you guys were the last full album we recorded in there.
They're badass. I love the Deltas.
That year was awesome. Oh, we had so much. That was one of the most fun weekends.
What's the guy with the beard? The lead
Ted.
singer?
Yeah,
Ted. He's cool.
Ted's great.
Cool, nice guy.
John and Ted. Good, great songwriters. Great live band.
But They're awesome. Hadn't, when you came back from the big trip, you didn't start the Petrelli Players yet, right?
No. Again, I needed time. To play, to want to, because again, that's a lot of energy, not only for me, to build myself up to do that. Because I mean, it was a hard couple months. I just needed that time to build myself up, and when I felt like, okay, I can go and play a live show and be okay. I think I'm ready. You know, so I called some buddies of mine and I go, listen, we're just playing my favorite songs. We're just having fun. I go, I don't care. I don't want to care about how many people I got to bring in the door. I don't want to care that we're too loud. I don't want people paying for tickets. I just want to have fun. And I just want to play like White Room by Cream. I love that song. Why have I never played that out? Well, guess what? I'm going to play it at this show. Okay, cool. It was and it was a mix of crazy, like we did Cake to Cream to, you know, Pony. Like we just did all this crazy stuff on that. But again, it was something for me. I want to find the fun again. And I wanted that spark to start to come back because I could feel it, and I needed that. So that's what the Petrelli Players is. It's just and again I called it the Petrelli Players because it's not just about me.
Yeah,
it's all these amazing musicians that I'm friends with, and again as a collective, and we all just play together. You know, I don't know where it's gonna lead. I don't. Right now, my main thing is we're just having fun.
Yeah,
we're just having fun, and that's it. You know, I'm not putting I'm not putting anything on it. It's just like, let's get together once a month and just play some fun songs. You know, so March 20th, we'll be hitting the stage to Hervel's. It's going to be great. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to have my brothers with me on stage that night. It's going to be a blast. Can't wait.
And also we're got a Hermosa gig, baby, in the works. I want to get you down to my neck of the woods in Hermosa Beach. We got to bring the great players down there.
Bring the players down.
So you had this relationship with Norm's Rare Guitars, and how did this internet phenomenon where your videos are, you know, have millions of views all over from, I mean, every cover song I want to look up, I can just look at Petrilli's Picks.
That's very, very kind.
Well, it's the truth. I mean, it's just insane the amount of exposure you get. How did this come to be?
I came here one day. It was a couple years ago. I was actually getting my passport renewed, and in this neck of the woods, I'm like, you know what? Norm's is around here. I'm just gonna go look. I'm not gonna buy anything. I'm just gonna go look and play some guitars. And I came here and played. I picked up a Martin over there, and they were like, yeah, would you like to come and do some videos sometime? Sure. It's like, you know, and Jen's like, you got a band? I'm like, yeah, we're called Roses and Cigarettes. Bring your bandmate too. Like, let's do some videos. And it started from there, and it was really, really great. And the videos were, you know, doing well, you know, and Jen's like, hey, do you want to do your own segment called Petrilli Picks? And I'm like, okay, let's do it, you know, and that's where it started. Just, you know,
are you doing demos originally, or just
lessons? Originally just, you know, okay, here's this cool Strat, and let's play a couple tunes on it, and just go and play it. But yeah, I do the same sort of thing with Petrilli Picks too, and all right, this is a very cool Strat that, you know, I pick it up, seems to be inspiring, and we'll go and play it and talk about it a little bit, and yeah, it's good stuff.
It's so helpful. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure people tell you you're a pretty girl. So, I mean, it's
Sometimes.
a good dynamic for everyone, you know. It's like, I'd rather look at a pretty girl than some, you know, 50-year-old fat guy with corned beef coming out of his lips. So
corned beef in your beard is never a good look.
It's a great dynamic.
It's never a good look.
Is it weird to you when you look at, you know, some of these videos from Norm's Rare Guitars or Petrilli Picks, and there's, you know, 2 million views on it? Does that intimidate you? It's like, wow, or you just think it's awesome?
You know, to me, I don't read YouTube comments. I don't do any of that. I find my life is a lot more relaxing. What I think is really cool is I hope those people who watch are inspired to play and pick up an instrument, you know, or maybe before they wouldn't, or they've had one sitting in the corner for 10 years. Like, you know what? Like what she did today, like that makes me want to pick up and play an instrument.
I love that.
To me, that's what it's about. And gosh, if I can make a difference in my playing, and, you know, if someone's going through a bad time, like I get messages like that all the time. Like, you know, I've been going through a tough year, and watching your videos really inspired me to pick up my guitar, and like that's what it's about to me. I don't care. I didn't start my Instagram channel to get views and to start a thing. I didn't. What it turned into is something I never thought would happen.
It's gigantic.
You know, it's it's a little crazy to me, but I just did it. It came from an authentic place. Like, I started that to, you know, push myself to learn songs that I loved, you know, and, you know, we're going through a tough time with, you know, Jenny's illness and all of that. And I wanted something that I could do every day to keep me happy and excited about playing music, you know, and that's where that came from. You know, again, was just something, a way to process life and my art and all of that stuff in a healthy way. That's what I wanted that to be, and that it turned into what it is crazy.
Yeah, like I said, it's gigantic.
It's crazy.
Your Instagram has more. You have like more followers than Billy Corgan does with Smashing Pumpkins. More followers than Neil Young.
I feel like that's a lie.
It's the truth. You have more followers than 100,000 followers on Instagram, and then another 300,000 on the YouTube or something. How do you pick the songs?
I don't think those numbers are correct, but thank you.
Well, they are not. It's Hollywood.
But thank you. Thank you.
How do you pick the songs that you show?
There's songs that I like.
Okay,
that's it. That's it. I'm not like I don't go like this is top 40. I'm gonna do this one. No, it's like what's on my. I can't say iPod anymore, but like what's on my phone that I like, or what's been on Spotify that I'm listening to. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is a great riff. I'm gonna do it.
Do you ever like? How do you find out how it's correctly played? I mean, we could play a G chord 17 different ways.
You can. It's a different. I listen to.
This is how you're playing.
I listen to it by ear, and then sometimes I'll look at tabs. Sometimes, but it's all about really listening. Okay, because again, like I said a few moments ago, it's you hear an E chord here that's different from an E chord here. Or here or here, so again it's a lot by ear, and a lot of times I'll watch their live videos. I'll see like I'll watch genius. What was one I did a few, like Eric Clapton playing Layla on MTV Unplugged, and watching how he did it. Okay, that's what he does when he goes to the D minor. He does this to this and he puts his thumb here. Okay, cool, that's how he did it. Well, but that has a lot to do with tone too, and it all goes back to that. Okay, so playing a D minor here and doing it like this when you go to the B flat. Okay, that makes sense instead of going to the D minor to the B flat or D minor B flat.
Every time I see one of your videos, there's a little bit of anger because I've been playing, like you played that Stone song the other day. Dun, 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 dun.
Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been playing that wrong for 20 years.
Well, see, I hope this video helps you learn it proper. Okay, it's an open tuning.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, man.
That's so cool, though. And
that's it.
I love that. It's just these great guitar gods watch you, and these famous world touring musicians are a fan of yours.
It's humbling to me. Because again, I just did this as something for me to be a better player. And
why do you think you stand out as opposed to the other million people that are sharing guitar lessons and have 3,000 views?
To me, it's about the music. I show up with a Strat or a Martin. I'm wearing a T-shirt, and I'm sitting in front of my wall with the songs the albums that have inspired me. It's about the music to me. It's about the music, and that's how I am. Like, listen,
that's how you look
like
at
this is what I like, and this is how I play, and and if you don't like it, that's great. There are a million other channels you can watch. And that's cool. But like, I'm gonna do me, and that's it. I don't know. I don't. That's it to me.
What's the weirdest DM you've got on Instagram?
That's a whole nother video, guys. That's
Facebook Live questions.
That's a whole nother
video. Well, you can answer one of these, or one or the other.
So we're Facebook Live right now?
Well, we were, and then I had to shut it down because the thing went off, but I still got all the questions.
Okay.
So who is your guitar god crush?
Okay.
Or, that question I just asked you previously, or what is the best advice we've got?
We got the best advice. We got that one. Okay.
What's the happiest experience you've ever had? I don't know if that's musically or in your life. What's the greatest day you've had? Let's say musically.
Musically, greatest day?
Where you're I love what I do, and I've just... Was it earlier on where you really were getting...
There's so many. Rolling? I'm going to have to give you a few. When Jenny and I played the Paramount Theater in Austin...
I didn't know you did that.
That was pretty epic.
Were you guys opening for someone?
Yeah, we have Mark Broussard.
Oh,
yeah, and it was a whole bunch of great people.
My boy's the Dales tour with him right now.
That was really something. Favorite, God, when Martin Guitars, Jenny and I went to do a museum sessions there back November 2017
in Pennsylvania,
Nazareth. Oh, and if you have not been to the factory, you got to go. It is great. So they invited us. We did 3 original tunes there, and they were taking video and doing pictures and all that. And Chris Thomas over there, he emails and he's like, hey, can we use one of your photos in the booth? at NAMM, and I'm thinking, they got like a little thing like on the desk. I'm like, sure, okay.
It's a giant one.
And it was giant. It was huge. I cried.
At this year's?
I cried. This was 2018.
Okay.
I cried that day. That was something that got.
Are you
so cool.
sponsored by them, endorsed by them?
I work with them, yes.
That's so great. I mean,
it's very humbling
that's such
and
success
very cool.
just there. I always,
Very
I'm from the
humbled.
Midwest, and I try to remind musicians there that, just being a rock star is not success in this business, or selling millions of albums. There's so many ways, and you're the prime example to really find a way to make a living in music. That's just being a touring, not even touring, a working musician.
Just
that's the success.
Staying authentic, and I think that's really
not selling out.
I've stayed true to myself, and that's what's important to me. Is people are going to want to put you in a box, and that's great and all that, but just sticking to your guns and just.
What's another female? These are other questions. Well, let's go. Who's your guitar god crush?
Guitar god, like, what do you mean by crush?
I think they're thinking
like
who
who's very handsome.
who
and
do you fancy?
Guitar. Oh, who do I think is a very handsome guitar player?
Eric Tesmer's not bad looking.
Eric Tesmer's a handsome dude.
He's
like
like a
my brother,
supermodel.
though. He doesn't count. He's like my brother. Who
Dead or alive?
Oh gosh. Because it's so funny, because I always think of the playing, like, oh man, like I love their tone. Who would I mean? He doesn't play guitar, but Brandon Boyd from Incubus for me was just so everything.
That's a good looking dude.
He is very handsome. He just everything. God love him.
Sticking with this, do you only date musicians?
I don't date musicians.
You stay away from.
I used to. I don't anymore.
And last one on this scale, what's been your worst date with a musician? But we'll just say.
Oh my God, worst date with a musician?
Well, that's what. Did you get the DMs where guys are like, "Hey, come play in my band. I'm opening up for Slaughter or something at the Whiskey A Go Go." Or
I've gotten some interesting DMs. That's a completely different.
Give us one weird DM.
One
so
weird
this guy
DM.
can listen right now and feel like an idiot.
Oh my God, there's so many. Like, okay, like creepy, weird.
Yeah, we want those.
I had a guy write a song about me and I'm not done yet. Just wait. He wrote a song about me and then set it to pictures of me.
Ooh. Yeah, that's gonna top creepy
How's that?
radar.
That was a little
Oh my
frightening.
God, thank you.
And it's like, I had
Can we
no
meet up?
idea what I looked like. Thank you for reminding me 27 times. Like, thanks, dude. That was a little strange. Gotten a lot of proposals. Without meeting me, which I think this is very, very humbling, I guess.
There's
very
one
flattering.
more from my buddy Jake Bear here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It just says, what is your creative process like? Do you focus on, you're a fantastic, phenomenal lead player, but do you ever feel the need to write songs?
Yeah, it's.
Do you get an idea? Is it trauma? Is it happiness?
I think it's everything. I think it's just being open to everything that life brings, because life isn't always great, and life isn't always bad all the time either. I think it is
waves.
It's perspective too. I think it's a lot. Sure. It's a lot of perspective. Every morning I wake up, the first thing I say is thank you. My legs work today, my lungs work today, and I'm healthy. I think having that perspective is really, really important, because it is. I'm thankful to be here and be alive and be able to talk with you and play a piece of wood with strings on it. Mm-hmm. Like, I get to do that, and
It took me a while to come to that, actually. We were talking about that the other day, and I was just like, I'm just so grateful now. I told you I quit drinking, and I don't try to always bring that up, but just living for the party and, being an asshole and, the joy and fun and appreciation I have for life now, and just so grateful, the things I get to experience and, all the people that's, famous, not famous, that are supportive of me. And it's like, wow, I'm just to get to just be alive, especially I think it takes, for my father or for Jenny in your case, sometimes it takes that trauma to really be appreciative of what we have, because, people, especially with social media today, they're just constantly complaining about this and that, or politics, and it's like, once your face, Dr. Death knocks on your door, or somebody you love, then it's like,
we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yep. We're living on borrowed time.
And I think making the most of it. The people you love, you tell them. You give them a hug. You tell them you love them. You call them. You do that. And you live your best life, and you live for you. And going back to you, like, your life is yours.
Yep.
Your life is yours, and live for you and do what you want to do. And people tell you you're crazy. Well, fine. Maybe I'm crazy to you, but for me, like, this is what I'm meant to do, and this is how I'm meant to live.
And take care of the engine that's your body.
Yeah, take care of your body.
You can
Get
live a
sleep.
long life.
Drink water. Yeah, but going back to your question about creative, I think, and again, I'm not a person that forces stuff. So when you don't force a song. It will come to you, and some are harder to write than others. Like, you might just get a chorus and you're like, damn it, I can't get those verses quite right. But just being open to it, the universe will give you what you need. You just got to be, again, just in that moment and be open to it. And you never know, you could be surprised, and given something that you didn't quite expect. 'Cause I think songs are given to you.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of looking at it and being open to it that way, and
embrace them when they're given to you, because all the greats. My favorite songwriter, Billy Corgan, he's all his most famous songs he says he wrote in 5 minutes. He's like, the in-depth ones that I tried to overcomplicate, those are the ones that I didn't even make the album.
Right. So just again, just
don't get in your own way.
Don't get in your own way. Exactly.
It's just I'm gonna get one more of these.
Let's do it.
I'm trying to find something that we haven't talked about. Do you remember okay, here's a good one. Who's an artist that you'd love to open up for?
I mean, Gary Clark Jr., that'd be pretty rad.
GCJ, Pam Adams, make that happen. W Management.
Oh my God,
we should make that happen.
Yeah,
let's
seeds
planted
happen.
right now.
God, who else? Bonnie Raitt.
Gosh, that'd be so sick.
Bonnie Raitt, that would be something. I love Sheryl Crow too. That'd be pretty great.
She's Pam Adams reps her too. W Management, yep, and Lucas Nelson. So
I love Nora Jones too. I love Nora Jones. So many. John Mayer would be pretty great. I'd love to play in his band.
Well, we're gonna interview David Ryan Harris together. DRH, you heard that? He was. I missed the show at Hotel Cafe.
I was at that show. What an amazing
John Cain,
songwriter.
didn't he?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he played a couple. He's an amazing songwriter.
DRH,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, amazing songwriter, and a super nice dude too.
Well, yeah, him
great.
growing up coming up in Atlanta, he kind of helped Mayer become John Mayer. He went to Berkeley and stuff, but it was the Eddie's Attic down there where everyone was jamming.
Yep, Atlanta, absolutely.
Yeah, you guys, for Gary Clark, that would be a cool opener. The Petrelli Players at the Fonda. Should we?
Fonda's great. I
Fonda
love
works.
the Fonda.
All right.
El Rey's good. El Rey.
They're going on tour with the Black Keys this summer.
I saw that.
That's pretty,
that's killer. Good guys.
Big.
Good guys.
So what's next on Angela's plate for this week, this year? What's some goals that you have that you want to accomplish?
I think I just always want to be a better player. That's always something.
When you do these demos and you're playing out all the time, I mean, are you still practicing at home, or is that you're practicing? Okay.
All the time.
So your guitar's in your hand 3 to 4 hours a day.
Yeah, it's again, the more energy you put into something, the more it's going to grow, and just like watering a plant, same kind of thing. You just got to give it water and all of that. I'm constantly practicing. I teach a lot, which is great, and I learn a lot from my students too. Which is wonderful. It's like, all right, so we're gonna do these scales like this, and I'm telling my students to do that. I should probably do more of that too. So it forces me to be even a better teacher for them. So again, working with my students has been lovely. But yeah, playing more shows, and again, I'm just not. I'm open to whatever. I'm open to whatever. Someone calls me up. All right, we want you to head out on tour with us. We need a guitar player. Great. Okay.
I'll take over Petrilli Picks for you.
I get a call from Gary Clark. Could you open for us? Yeah, no problem, Gary. But again, just being open to everything. I may, what they say, like, you make a plan and God laughs.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna do what I think feels good to me. But there might be a greater plan out there. That's something I can't even imagine right now. And I'm open to that too.
Works. 90% of life is showing up And then it's
Yeah,
just
being prepared,
open.
being prepared at the right time. Because I don't necessarily believe in luck. I think it is being prepared at the right time.
Yeah.
And putting in the work. Because it's and especially running your own band and running your own brand, you're wearing a lot of hats. And you got to put in the work.
Well, also for my film, I'm directing Long Black Veil. You, Johnny Radelet, David Ryan Harris,
Yeah.
Justin Andres.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get him on bass, and
Yep.
you're gonna maybe musical direct for
Make
this
it-
song. We're gonna
let's
do a
make it
cover of
happen.
it. We'll record at Sunset Sound. Yeah, it's exciting. It's just.
Make it happen.
I'm so glad to have met you
Oh my
through
God,
Testmer.
likewise.
I'm so
Likewise.
happy to be here today with Norm.
Likewise. I
being
know.
here as
Thank
well,
you,
wherever he
Norm.
is.
Thank you, Norm.
Yeah, thank you, Norman's Rare Guitars. And
Yeah.
if you're a guitar player, musician, and been living on the moon for the last couple of years, go to Petrilli Picks on Instagram, on YouTube.
Yeah, Angela Petrilli
on-
Music. Yep.
You
Yeah,
should do a
yeah.
podcast. You'd be amazing.
I'm thinking about it. I would love to. It's just a matter of getting all the gear and all the stuff
Well,
good to
time
go. But,
too. I mean, you're
and
so
time.
busy.
And I know, again, I know a bunch of great musicians who mix, who do all this stuff, who play, who have toured, and again, just getting different perspectives. We all learn from each other. We're not the same, so we all just learn from each other. Let's not be competitive. Let's all learn. That's
And be
it.
nice. That's how you get along better
nice.
in the world. Just
Don't
be
be a
nice to
jerk.
everybody.
Don't be a jerk. Be nice. It's
And
easier
we'll-
to be nice.
We're gonna play something right now.
Sure.
All right.
do it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. This was great. Ended in a little
I don't
modal.
know
I
where
love
I'm
it. Very cool.
Amazing.
Very cool.
What do we have here? A 1977 Martin D35.
Can't go wrong with those. They're beautiful.
Oh, my
They're beautiful.
week.
And I've got a 00018. This is a 1955 Martin.
Oh my gosh.
They're beautiful. Nice big sound. Beautiful patina of the wood. Yeah. Can't go wrong with these. Good acoustic jam. It's always fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. This was a ton of fun.